Hello Commanders, Pro-Tah-Zzioh back with another video, and this time we'll be featuring a 2v2 battle in the main version of the game. So we'll be teamed up with Xeonexis Gaming. We're both in the Fat Squad and we're both from the Philippines. So we'll be up against Brutality and DODO Gamer, both from Brazil. DODO Gamer coming from Titans BR or Brazil, and Brutality coming from Commandos BR or Commandos Brazil.
New objective.
Okay, here we go. So I'll be starting off with a pretty different opening since we have C. I'll be opting to go Naval, and I'll be asking Xeonexis to go Avia. So I start off with a blue emergency boost, and I drop down a supply center and a power supply, then a couple of barracks, and then I upgraded my HQ to level 2 and then switched into gold construction boost. So I'll be dropping down a vehicle factory in order for me to gain access to a naval shipyard. So as you can see, the vehicle factory is already there. So Xeonexis is also doing the same thing, but he'll just be focusing on collecting containers. Here comes the shipyard, but the second shipyard doesn't reach the deployment time. Too bad. So I'll be collecting this container here, and I'll be collecting a few more containers. Xeonexis is doing the same thing here on the upper right hand portion, collecting containers on his side. Ooh, too bad that blue player got that container. So the green player is also advancing with his infantry, and I gain access to the middle first. So I'll be able to collect those two containers. We'll be collecting most of the naval containers here as well. And I'm already upgrading my shipyard to level 2 to gain access to alligators. So I'll get that container for myself as well. And a scout here is gonna be taken down by my coyote. So I'm asking Xeonexis to go Avia now, and then I'm letting him know that I'm going fleet or I'm going navy. So this is actually in one of Xeonexis's live streams, so be sure to check his channel out. His channel link will be in the description of the video. And as you can see, going back to the game, I was able to get a scout, or rather Xeonexis was able to get a scout with his coyote here on both Confederation players' bases. You can see green player here is doing the standard Confederation play, not really producing any units early in the game, just enough to scout and defend. And he's put down bunkers on the left and the right side of his base. So I'm advising Xeonexis here that I'll be attacking the blue player once I get 10 alligators. So that's about 9. I'll be producing one more, and I'm letting him know where I will be attacking. So it looks like I already have 10 gators. So I proceeded with a blue naval attack boost first to speed up my alligators, and then I switched to a gold naval strike. So this boost will be going away in the future version of the game, since it will be replaced with a gold naval scouting. So that's gonna speed your naval units up instead of adding 3 cells of range like what it's doing now. So a pretty sweet engagement. Lost about 6 alligators there from 3 torpedo platforms and a few Vikings. So I'll be focusing on destroying this torpedo platform here, and then I'll switch fire to this torpedo platforms that are under construction. So RIP resources of the blue player. So green now decides that he wants to help with a Viking. Xeonexis here is also poking with his hawk, trying to take the HPs of those Vikings down. So I'll be losing all my alligators since there were too many naval platforms or torpedo platforms, and the green player decided to help out with a few Vikings. So Xeonexis is Hawk here, doing rounds on those torpedo platforms that are under construction. So he should be able to take care of those. Just showing of my base and Xeonexis' base here, nothing crazy. We're still striving to produce more units. So 2 more Hawks here for Xeonexis, who's going to be taking out those torpedo platforms. So looks like in total the blue player has already produced about 7 or 8 torpedo platforms that will be destroyed continuously. So looks like he has already allotted about 2,400 resources on torpedo platforms alone, and looks like he's building a new one, so that's gonna be 2,700 plus Vikings. I think he's lost about do the math, about 3,300 in resources, Vikings and torpedo platforms. So Xeonexis here doing the air support or providing air support with those Hawks, attacking those Vikings, and I have a couple of Alligators that are gonna take down that Viking as well as that shipyard. Once that shipyard falls down, I'll easily have access to his buildings on land. So green player here was really out of position. Don't know why he pulled back his Vikings there, since the blue player was really exposed to the Hawks as well as the Alligators. So I also decided to include a few Dragonflies to help out shoo away any Vikings that decide to attack or defend the blue player. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go for that construction yard to halt the construction of those rocket towers. And again, another round of wasted resources on the blue player side. So I'm now focusing his HQ so that it's gonna be easier to beat him down, or so I can also focus my attention on the green player. So while this is ensuing, I'm also producing, or I'm still producing, tons of Alligators so that I'll be able to proceed on attacking the green player's base. So a Poseidon gets spotted, nothing too crazy about that Poseidon. We should be able to deal with that quite easily. So Hawks here coming in for the cleanup, going for that construction yard as well. So I'm gonna save some boost and will instead have my units positioned right in the middle of the map, or in the middle of this, or in front rather, of the blue player's naval zone. So I'll be able to get a pretty good formation of those Alligators. So Hawks here trying to do some damage, but is being reciprocated with damage as well coming from those platforms and from that Poseidon. So as you can see, I'm trying to form a line here so that I'll be able to get in pretty good formation once I decide that it's time to attack that green player's base. So Xeonexis here continuing the attack on the blue player's base. Blue player decides he wants to rebuild his HQ, but ends up getting it destroyed again, or having it destroyed again. So a few more Alligators here, and Xeonexis is still doing rounds on the blue player's base, harassing or just trying to take the life out of the blue player. Looks like he's still struggling, or he's still thriving to survive and come back into the fight. So I'm advising that I needed a scout here so that I'll be able to see what the green player has inside his base. I'm trying to see if I'll be able to attack the green player with a with my ground units. So Xeonexis here decides that he wanted to attack, but I advised him to wait since my alligators were still out of position. Lack of communication there on our part, and then I decided I wanted to attack now. And then I think he gets pissed here on his live stream because he wanted me to decide. So we went ahead and proceeded with the attack. We've taken out the Poseidon, and looks like the green player has about 4 torpedo platforms, which will all be dealt with the Hawk Alligator combo from the resistance side. So a few stragglers here and there. Both shipyards will be taken out, and alligators will be able to wreak havoc on the green player's base. Green player, however, was able to amass a sizable force of ground units. Typhoons and Zeus will be approaching my base shortly, so we'll be able to deal with that later on. Poseidon, the last Poseidon gets taken out, and the green player's base will be butchered by those alligators. Here, green player is still trying to produce some units to defend his base, but he won't be able to do that much against these the sheer number of those alligators. So what I do here is I try to produce as much ground troops as I can. I also mix in dragonflies into the fray, and then I continue while I'm trying to produce defenses. I'm also attacking the green player's base just to make sure he won't be able to get back up. So what I did is I dropped down tons of barracks so that I'll be able to spam riflemen, and earlier I went ahead and upgraded those or a few of those barracks so that I'll have access to grenadiers. I also have a level 3 vehicle factory, so I'll be able to get some Jaguars included in the fight as well. Here though, I didn't decide to include my Jaguars. I just had them sieged right in my base. And Xeonexis here comes in with 12 Hawks, quickly dealing with those anti-air Typhoons so that his Hawks would not suffer too much damage, or he wouldn't be able to suffer too much losses on those Hawks. So I'll be continuing the attack on the green player's base with my ground units, but Xeonexis' Hawks here is also doing the same. So I type in take my rifleman wall. Those units would not be able to pass that wall. So green player here, or rather blue player here, still tries to rebuild his base, but realizing that the green player has already pushed the self-destruct button, he does the same. So what's important here is really coordination. I asked Xeonexis to cover the air because I'll be covering the sea. Reason being is that his base is near towards the enemy's base, so he'll be able to either quickly send in dragonflies, or his Hawks would be able to quickly refuel since they don't have too much ground to cover when it comes to providing air support. I went ahead and produced Navy since I know that, or I have trust in my units since my alligators have their armor, HP, and the cannon damage maxed out. We were actually supposed to do a armor rush, that's why in the start of the video you saw us doing the negative command, letting the other know that we won't proceed with the plan since the map does not allow it, or it's not a feasible tactic in that map. So congratulations on reaching the end of my video, and if you liked it, be sure to mash that like button and subscribe to my channel for more AOW 3 or Auto War 3 content. Good luck out there in the battlefield.